Hi guys, welcome back to Yurden's Kitchen. Today we're going to make white sauce or a bechamel. But before we get started with that, I just wanted to show you a little quick thing I like to do with the rice. We're having chicken almost like a Florentine, except instead of spinach we're using broccoli. And I want to make rice for our dinner tonight. Now normally at home, normally I would make a basmati or like even cook the rice. I don't usually use minute rice. But when I do, which I'm going to today, I like to change it up a little bit. Now, minute rice is one of those things that all you need is equal parts of the minute rice with liquid. Now, I'm using clamato juice. You can use chicken stock, you can use beef stock. As long as it's thin enough, almost not watery, but like a water base, you can use almost any liquid as long as it's 2 to 2, right? Normally rices are 2 to 1. But this one's going to be 2 to 2. So I'm just going to get it started. I'm just going to throw a little bit of butter in there. Okay. And once that comes to a boil, I'm going to add my rice, turn off the heat, let it go for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever long, and it'll be done. I won't have to do any more fussing with it. So that's the beauty of minute rice, and it's really quick, it's really easy. Someday I'll teach you how to make real rice, but that's okay for now. Okay, so tonight's supper is going to be a broccoli and chicken stuffed crepe, because I'm going to finish up the crepes I made the other day for our dinner. And this is more of a dinner crepe, obviously, than it is a thing. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit because it's bubbling away quite nicely. In here I've got my chicken and my broccoli. Right? I've got a little bit of white wine, non-alcoholic of course, and some seasonings. In this one is garlic and onion, paprika, cumin, and a Moroccan allspice. So it's going to have Mediterranean type of taste to it before we're done today. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, but I'll do that later. Okay, let's get started with the bechamel sauce. Right? So to make a bechamel, you need what's called a double boiler. Because I don't want it to come to a boil. But a double boiler is basically a pan and water on top. Don't let the water touch this. This is used for making sauces, for making melting chocolate, for making cheese sauces. And this white sauce, bechamel sauce, is one of those things that's it's a universal. It's almost like a mother sauce. In fact, it is a mother sauce. Right, from this one you can add cheese to it, I can add other spices to it, and whatever. But I'm just going to make a plain white sauce today. So I want to start with my milk, and here I've got 4 cups of milk. I'm just going to add that to my boiler, my double boiler. Now what will happen is, what the double boiler does is it helps things not to scorch, right? Because you know if you put milk in direct heat like that, it'll scorch up. So I just want this to heat up a little bit. Okay. Just going to turn it down just a little bit because I don't want it boiling. Okay. Now I'm going to add my studded onion. Okay. Now what this is an onion that I've stuck these little cloves in, if you can see them. Okay. So it's just a matter of sticking them in there. All right. And then putting this in my milk sauce, right? Letting that start to heat up. Meanwhile, my rice is just about ready. That's how quick this stove is. I just want to talk a little bit about the sauce. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to this. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it. But one of the things you really need to do is, if I don't have any white pepper here, but white pepper goes in the sauces really well, because it doesn't have any it disappears, right? Whereas black pepper, you'll see it. So I may just wait on the pepper, but I'm definitely going to add a little bit of salt. Okay, and not a lot, about 1/4 teaspoon in there, and that's just to help with the flavor. Now again, I can add almost anything I want to this sauce now. I'm going to turn that right almost off. Okay. So there's my rice. It's a rolling boil. All right. I'm just going to take Now it's 2 cups of rice to 2 cups of clematis juice. Just going to take that, give it a quick stir, turn my heat right off, put the lid on, put it in the back burner, walk away. It'll be there when I'm ready for it. When my meal time comes, it'll be all set to go. So now I'm just going to let this heat up a little bit. It's going to take a couple of minutes, so I'm just going to take a few minutes now, let it heat up, and I'll be back. Okay, so now I want to separate the milk from the bowl, I guess. I don't want to mix my roux in here because I won't get a nice smooth mixture. So I'm going to put a little roux, and this is roux. Now roux is equal parts fat with flour. So it's flour and butter, and I've started it, and my milk's hot now. Now it's not boiling, but it's starting to even thicken up. Okay, so I'm going to take a ladle full or 2, and I'm going to pour it in my bowl. Right? A little bit, and then I'm just going to start whisking it out. And as I do that, you'll notice that it'll start to thicken up. As it dissolves. Okay. Then I'm going to add it back into here and start again. So you'll notice, and this is not quite ready yet, but I'm going to take a spoon out and I'm going to show you how it's getting thicker, okay? So I just need that to cook down a little bit. I'm going to add this back in. And you'll see, and I'm just going to take my onion out. Actually, I'm going to take it out a smart way. So as that heats up, it will get thicker. All right? But I'm gonna help it a little bit, okay? Because I made a little sauce with the white wine. You can just see, okay, how. Right, so I made a little sauce with the white wine, okay? And I started it with the roux as well. So that's the chicken and the flavorings from that. And I'm just going to add a little bit of my milk to it. Now, I've got my chicken and everything going here. I'm just going to add a little bit of my milk, my bechamel sauce to my chicken. Turn my heat back on. Let that start to heat up. And it's going to take on the flavors that were in the sauce. And thicken that up a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to put this on the heat. Let that start to cook out a little bit. Now you want to make sure that you cook out all the flour. So I'm just going to let this heat up a little bit. My rice is probably ready. Let's have a peek. Look at that, all done. It's got a nice color to it. And it's all nice, and just fluff it up. Okay, so everything's ready to go now. So now it's time to plate. I've got my crepe on the plate. Right, I've got my chicken ready. I'm just going to put it in. So this is supper. So, and everything's here, right? We've got our vegetable, we've got our starch, we've got our protein. I love that. Look at that. Okay. So now I'm just going to, now there's a lot in here, but that's okay. It's my supper. Doesn't want to stay? That's all right. So now I'm just going to take my sauce and drizzle that over. Right. And I'm going to take a little bit of rice. A couple of spoonfuls of rice. And there's a nice color combination. I mean, part of the reason I did the rice up in the color is because I wanted it to look a little different. There's a lot of white here. White chicken, white crepe. The broccoli is green, obviously, but I just wanted to make sure that we looked at it, you know, with a little bit of color here. Okay. Always make sure you clean your plate. Remember, folks, you always eat with your eyes first. Right? So it's imperative that when you're plating, like all chefs do, they try to make it look as appealing and as appetizing as they possibly can. Because like I said, eat with your eyes first. Right? So until next time, remember, somebody loves you, it's just not me.
The technique is use your fingers.
Yes.
And that's why we wash our hands.
Yeah.